If this isn't proof that it's totally okay not to be married by 30, I'm in the Sahara Desert with 18 incredible women about to go ride camels in the sunset.
I'm just having a really hard day, trying to get ready.
That women tend to be happier when they are single.
I could have married a lot of the people that I've dated.
Okay, I turned 40 this year, and I've never been in love. I've never been in a relationship.
If you hear something or an update about your ex, and it just kills you.
Women tend to be happier when they are single.
Struggling financially, being alone, having no one there to talk to as you age, no kids.
And I always thought I would have kids. I thought I would be married by now. And now the closer I get to it, and I'm scared. I don't know.
I didn't think it would be an issue. I'm 32 years old.
I'm 53. I would like to think that I'm still young, right?
The fact that you're 40 and single, still with no children, and now you find out that she's 8 weeks pregnant, and you so want to feel happy for her, but inside you feel so sad.
Happier when they are single.
I'm in a stage of life where I'm watching all my friends get married and have babies, and
you know that at 40 you're running out of time, and soon you won't have a choice at all.
No choice at all. That should really be the slogan of this generation's feminists, because all of this screaming "I don't need a man" is starting to have some real-world consequences, and it's not pretty.
I also feel like I'm getting older, and it's like I have to put some effort into dating or I'm just gonna be alone forever. But now I'm just honestly getting to the point where I'm just gonna be the single aunt.
But it's really hard when I don't really have anyone to go to on a Friday night.
I am 30 years old and I have been single for over 12 years, so never had a real adult relationship.
Maybe I should just give up. But I don't know. Then I feel like if I give up, then it's then I'm totally throwing the towel in, and that sounds and feels sad.
These feminists are literally marching modern women down a disastrous path of pain and loneliness, all under the banner of quote-unquote helping women. But the reality is, when you ignore basic facts and continue to sell a lie to women, then eventually they will catch on and realize that it's not benefiting them at all.
But really, it's just crazy. It's been a rough month for me, and I got COVID. Somebody help me. I'm so tired of being an independent woman sometimes. Sometimes, I just want to be taken care of. My whole life I've just been so independent.
Yep, careful what you wish for. So you see, you are now getting a whole new generation of 30 and 40-year-old women who are just now realizing that everything they were promised by modern feminism was complete bullshit, and they are not living their best lives at all.
There is no shame in not wanting to climb the ladder.
I don't want to be independent. This independent life is just horrible.
I'm so tired.
I am tired. How am I doing 9 to 5 and I'm still broke?
You are going to be alone. You're not going to have a family. I don't want to wake up at, 60 by myself.
And people go home to their families or partners or whatever, and you go home to an empty house.
Please drop a like on the video if you think that modern feminism cares more about hurting men than actually benefiting women. So telling women to not worry about starting a family and that they can just delay having kids when they are literally on a biological clock is not only ridiculous, but it's also quite cruel.
For a woman over 35, the first hurdle is often infertility.
So we look at the curve, and then your mid-30s, and it takes a dive.
And old age in women really is in your late 30s, early 40s as far as ovarian age is concerned.
Despite the bombardment of feminist propaganda, women still show time and time again that they deeply want to have kids and that they are not happy or fulfilled at all with just climbing the corporate ladder.
I don't want a job. I don't want to be a corporate girly. I don't want to climb the ladder. I don't want to be a boss babe. I don't want to do any of that. I don't want to be the breadwinner. I do not want to do that. You know what I want to do? I want to be home.
And I'm just wondering, am I the only person completely struggling? Am I the only one? Because I've been single a very long time.
I'm 28 years old, I have a degree, I'm not doing anything with that degree currently. I just want to live comfortably and be happy and have the time to pursue my hobbies and my passions outside of work.
I mean, she's basically describing being a stay-at-home mom with a small side business, allowing her to do whatever she loves to do. But she's not getting it.
I feel like there's gotta be jobs that I'm just not thinking of.
And so, telling women to press pause on having a family or finding a man might sound great in theory, but it does not work out in real life. Because just like the lie of being able to press pause on your puberty by means of chemical castration, you cannot press pause on your fertility, especially not in the way they're selling it to modern women.
And I have decided before my 30th birthday, I'm going to freeze my eggs.
Okay, I'm turning 30 in 3 months, 90 days from today. And so I figured since I'm still single, it's probably a good idea to consider freezing my eggs.
Freeze your eggs. Freeze your eggs as early as you possibly can.
Egg freezing has become a social media trend with hundreds of paid influencers promoting and luring women into a very lucrative business model with the belief that they can just party well into their 30s, then freeze some eggs, and still have a bunch of kids later on.
I also want to inspire anybody who is watching this who had been considering freezing their eggs or taking control of their own fertility. I want to inspire you to do the same.
Injecting myself twice a day in order to freeze my eggs as a 37-year-old woman who is single with no man in sight.
They make women believe that egg freezing is some sort of insurance plan.
There's been a lot of buzz about egg freezing being a kind of insurance policy.
And I woke up and realized that absolutely I wanted that insurance policy.
Yeah, it isn't.
It is a medical procedure. It is not without risk. Equally, there's no absolute guarantee that they're going to get a live birth out of this.
When they call you and tell you that none of them worked, like,
you know, like they're mature, but like when you actually do the testing after making embryos, like I, in theory, could have nothing.
I think they even used the word discarded. They said they've all been discarded.
Okay, well, thank you for letting me know.
But again, it sounds nice and makes them feel all warm and fuzzy inside. However, when you ignore the social media hype and just look at the actual numbers, things start to look a lot more depressing, and women are not freezing their fertility at all.
I really thought this process would like slow down my biological clock and I wouldn't feel as much pressure. And I feel way more pressure now.
So, you know, over 37, 38, the egg quality will not be as good as it once was, and many women may be actually freezing their infertility.
Now we'll get back to the disastrous state of egg freezing in a minute, because right now I want to focus a bit more on how exactly we got into this mess of older women opting for egg freezing and why these modern women are fully to blame for their own failure to have a kid.
For me, freezing my eggs allows me to fulfill my dreams on my own timeline without depending on a man or my biological clock.
Since, in classic feminist fashion, instead of taking accountability for their own choices, these women will simply not do that, but they will twist and turn trying to blame the whole thing on men.
Super wild to me that women are going through this whole process, preserving our opportunity to have kids in the future. Meanwhile, men aren't taking any sort of steps to do things to help themselves have kids earlier in life.
Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. Men don't have to worry about their fertility since we are built different. It was your own personal choice not to have kids at 25 or 30 or 35. And so even at 39 years old, this woman is still not ready to have babies.
Number one, it's not just about having a kid. It's about preserving opportunity.
But then blames men for not wanting to have kids earlier.
Meanwhile, men aren't taking any sort of step to help themselves have kids earlier in life. Why not just have the baby? Can you imagine me a mom now? Have kids earlier in life. Can you imagine me a mom now? Y'all, I've got some more concerts to go to.
Yep, certified lunatic. So from the age of 18, women literally have well over 15 years just to find one guy that they want to have babies with, and God has made it so easy for them since he's made men very horny creatures, which allows pretty much any woman to easily find 100 men that would want to date her and make babies with her, while most men are not that lucky.
Now I just want to note, this data is based on 6 years. Based on 6 years.
For men, it's actually the other way around, because from the age of 18, we first have to spend 10 to 15 years working our ass off, getting the right job, the right house, the right car, you name it, just to become eligible for women to desire us. And yet, modern women will still act like children, claiming that life is just not fair for them because they don't get every single thing the minute they want it.
And this just was like saying to me, like, I want this, and life saying, no, you can't have it.
The dream of motherhood had slipped through your fingers.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
It was like, well, wow, life just fast forward. Now I'm 42.
You know, it does feel unfair sometimes.
Guess what? I would love to flap my wings and take off like an eagle or be born into a billion-dollar dynasty. But that's not gonna happen now, is it? No, I need to deal with reality. And the reality for modern women is that when you turn 35, not only will it become much more difficult to date,
but seriously, dating in your 40s is terrible. Why does it have to be so bad?
So let's talk being childless and possibly being single and being lonely.
I'm not good at this. I don't know if I'm like just so damaged.
but it will also become much more difficult to find someone who takes you seriously.
I'm talking about my son. He literally grabs the dessert menu and just starts looking at it. Like he's completely bored with what I'm saying.
It will become more difficult to get pregnant.
When you talk about approaching 40 or being over the age of 35, I want to be crystal clear. In terms of gynecology and obstetrics, women's best eggs are in their early 20s.
And much more difficult to keep that pregnancy.
Miscarriages are another very common battle, which increase as fertility decreases.
This is not patriarchy oppressing you, that's simple biology. So up to this point, you might think you've already seen a wild bunch of delusional and desperate older women, but wait, it gets much worse. Because I was seeing a lot of crazy dating app profiles floating around online with women who are already pregnant trying to date, or who just gave birth 2 or 3 months ago, and to be honest, I actually thought that those were fake, because no one is that crazy, right? Well, I guess I was wrong, since I actually found a live one who's in the process of doing so.
So my sperm arrived and was shipped to my clinic in Pennsylvania.
This lady right here is actually dating while trying to get pregnant with donor sperm.
So I just had a very fun date with this really sweet guy. It was like super wholesome, but I'm sharing about the fact what I'm doing here, and I'm becoming a solo mom. And
I mean, come on, what is the plan here? This means that if she's successful, you are basically dating a girl for 3 weeks who all of a sudden becomes pregnant with another man's sperm, and in about 9 months you will be a fresh new stepdad. Not to mention all of the fun you'll be having dating a pregnant woman who's about to give birth to another guy's child.
It's been a little bit stressful, and haven't really been feeling like posting.
Are you kidding me? What type of guy is going to accept that? I guess a dude with some serious pregnancy fetish, but in all seriousness, this is beyond crazy, and this girl's playing it off as if everything is fine and she's totally enjoying life.
I just think at this point in life, I'm just enjoying just being me.
Yeah, sure. It feels like I'm watching the origin story of female Joker here. I mean, at this point, I hope she gets pregnant fast, or the world is gonna have one angry supervillain. Anyways, there's also some good news that comes out of this, since some women are indeed taking their own failures as a learning point to educate themselves and other women. That it might actually be time to start taking family planning much more serious at a younger age.
But that's where it's so frustrating, is like, why are we not told our options? Like even in our OBGYN appointments, like at 25, you're going in for your pap smear. It's all about birth control versus like, let's get an AMH on you. Let's talk about like family planning.
Now, I haven't even mentioned the real financial cost of this fake insurance plan called egg freezing, which has pretty much bankrupted many women attempting to freeze their eggs.
I was spending just under $1,000 a day for medication. I used whatever money I had and I maxed out my credit cards.
I ended up spending an additional $5,000 on medication.
This one's $1,120, $1,960, $4,687, $1,650, although I know that it cost me more than that.
I've spent $11,000.
Spending around $15,000. Altogether, she spent about $50,000.
Instead of a down payment on a house, I pay for my eggs to potentially be stored, and potentially be used.
So when women are young and hot, they are having a blast on dating apps because guess what? Every single guy wants to date them. But as they get older, more and more men will start to exclude them in their dating preferences, and so they no longer exist.
Let's discuss why men my age don't seem interested in me.
Older men, when they date younger women, is because they find them more physically attractive than the older ones.
So I'm 45, and my age range is from 33 to 65.
I just don't think that men in their 40s are looking for other women in their 40s.
This is why when older women complain that there are no good matches on their dating apps, that is actually correct.
But like, oh god, if anyone knows anyone.
Modern women believe that as they age, they become more valuable to men because they value themselves in a completely different way than men do. But the reality is that for most men, the only thing that older women bring is simply more baggage and more jadedness.
Women have it 10 times harder than men. And I built this life for myself. I had, in the Dominican Republic, breast augmentation, lipo under my arms along with Vaser, and then I had lipo 360 along with a tummy tuck, BBL, and then lipo and Vaser on my inner thighs.
Yeah, I think I'll pass. And so, as modern women get older and start to face the consequences of their actions, they start becoming politicians trying to spin their own bullshit into something great and wonderful.
And the fact that I don't have my own children means that I'm able to give time to friends that do have children, to people in the community that have children, all that extra to give to other people's kids.
Right, so let me get this straight. She has all this nurturing energy to spend on other people's children, right? Well, let's see what happens when that situation actually takes place.
Now, my neighbour has just had a baby, and I'm really happy for her. She's wanted a baby for a long time, and she's now got this beautiful daughter. But I haven't met that baby, and that is my choice. If I see that baby, it's going to bring up feelings of grief.
Well, another case of total bullshit, since she's actively avoiding people with children because it makes her feel like shit. This was Why Older Women Are Getting Desperate. Please drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel for more videos.